What it is, y'all? It is your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back today with more Damachi. Now, today we're going to be talking about the new banners for the crossover event that's dropping tonight. And believe me, guys, I know that it's been a ton of banners back to back to back. I told you guys a while ago, like especially when I went in for Philvis, I'm going in with one goal in mind. Yes, I will admit I got stupid lucky on that one, but things like this, and how quickly they really pop this on us, are why I highly recommend you always keep some Iris in reserve. You always save, and you be basically diligent about knowing, roughly when things are dropping in the game and how much Iris you really need as a reserve case just for such an occasion. That said, I will probably be broke after this, which means basically December summons might be pretty tight. I'm not going to lie. Probably going to save for New Year's, if I'm honest. But let's get into it because this is an interesting one. All right? So, Marielle. We talked about this unit a little bit yesterday, but we're going to go into a little bit more detail today. Marielle is a magic light unit. 3560 HP, 373 MP. Not bad, not bad. Magic is 1864, but when you see a lower magic attack like that and you see a physical attack at the same time, you already know this is going to be a support unit. This is not a unit we're going to damage test. This is not a unit that's going to be wildly insane in the damage categories. This is a unit that basically like your Haruhimes and Arties and characters like that. In fact, if we go back over to her stats here, one of the big things about her passive, 20% ailment resistance when countering instead of attacking, low heal and cure ailment. So, one thing I kind of understated yesterday in the video, she does do a low heal, but she also cures ailment. Which means, remember I tell you, poison is not something you really ever need to worry about too badly. She basically makes poison practically pointless. Which means a lot of those Epimetheus teams gonna fear this unit a lot. Now, let's talk about her skills. Skill 1 is a high heal with 35% HP regen. Remember, that's an all allies high heal. She can do a big heal, and for 4 turns, basically for that turn and then 3 more turns, you're going to get 35% HP regen at the end of the turn. Now, so here's the crazy thing about this, okay? And this is why this is just wildly insane. You already have Haruhimes on the team, okay? And the Haruhime is going to do a counter heal. Now, Haruhime does her own HP regen, but she does hers a little bit differently. Now, this adds a high heal whenever she does it. So basically, you're in the fight, boom, drop that heal. Haruhime is doing whatever she does. Do counter heals, counter heals, counter heals. I'm assuming you're going to have this with the Wind Haruhime. Counter heals, counter heals, counter heals. If nobody's completely healed by the end of this, old girl's going to drop, bam, have 35% of your own HP right back. So basically, if you are ever going into another turn without 100% health, it's because you're not using this unit appropriately. That's nuts. And if you're going into another turn with any ailments on your units, it's because you're not using this unit appropriately. Now, that said, most ailments occur at the beginning of a turn because they're mostly like assist things. We're mostly talking about war game in that regard. But yeah, she's going to be a war game like killer. She's going to be insane for war game. Like, expect to see this unit around for a very, very, very long time in war game. And that's just skill 1 and her passive skill, her first passive skill. Let's get on to skill 2, a super light magic attack with ultra on counter rate, and extend status debuffs by 2 turns, and add 3 additional actions, foes plural, mid-light magic attack. Now here's the thing. Well, I did say in a lot of other cases that I would love to see more of these mid attacks as the alternative attack. Notice she doesn't really have a huge buff here. Her only buff is skill 3, allies. Fast, magic resist plus 50%, which is nuts. Magic plus 40%, and fire, water, thunder, earth, wind, light, dark, attack damage 30%. So she's going to give herself 40% magic and 30% light attack. That's not end of the world stuff. She's not a damage dealer. She's doing enough to kind of go out there and say, yeah, I tried. But she's really not going to be, a really nuts damage dealer. And on top of that, the light team really doesn't have anybody that does 100% light damage. You can get the 120% strength and magic from Haruhime, but that's going to be like a late game thing. Which, once she does that, once she gets the 80% light, which I believe is the highest light stat you can get currently, skill 2 will then be deadly. Skill 2, especially with that extra attack, will be wildly inappropriate. But you're talking about a very late game thing. You're talking about like turn 9, 10, or later. And even then, you're probably going to use her SA. Ultralight magic attack with Ultra and Guard Rate. Great temporary magic boost. Shorten status buffs by 3 turns. And allies 50% revive at 50% HP. In other words, what that means, you're going to line her up. Okay? Now, she doesn't have a percentage boost on her attack. So her attack is going to be minimal at best. But the big thing she does here, well, she's going to hit, okay, not crazy, but okay. What she's going to do is she's going to look to all the allies and go, all right, everybody flip a coin. Heads, you're going to get a revive. Tails, sorry, you're going to croak. And basically anybody goes, heads? She's like, cool. Next time you take a killing blow, get shot. Posterior right back up. Be like, all right, and at 50% health. Oh, not 10%? No, 50% health. Oh, so I'll be viable again. Yes, you will be. And remember, she's got counter healing. So she's going to do this on her SA. They take a killing blow next turn, just hypothetically speaking. They immediately get back up. She goes, oh, you took a hit, did you? Bam, counter heal. And Haruhime go, oh, I just took a hit. Bam, counter heal. This is wildly insane. Like, I understated this drastically yesterday, but this unit is going to be around for a good bit of time. So 20% ailment resistance, and when countering, instead of attacking, low heal and cure ailment for whatever, one ally, the ally with the lowest HP. Nuts. 35% dark resist, 45% magic and dex, 35% guard damage reduction, and beast killer skill. Now, beast killer skill, it is what it is. That's gonna be for like a Familia event we're gonna get here shortly, or probably EX missions or something like that. But you want Marielle. She's crazy. Let's move on to Eyes. Okay? Eyes. Wind magic type unit. Okay? Once again, all these units are time limited. So you don't get them now, you're not going to get another opportunity. That's the unfortunate thing about crossover units. We don't get reruns very often. And for a long time, reruns weren't even a thing. So don't expect these to come back. You get the units today, while they're around for the next 2-3 weeks, or you just miss out. So if you want these units, now's the time. Okay? HP is 3731, which is great for a magic unit. 2011 is her magic stat. MP is 395, which is high. Defense is 490, which is about average for a magic unit. Magic units tend to be squishier. And she does have Beast Killer. Now, skill 1 for Eyes is magic resist down 40%, which is nice. Self magic and wind attack damage 70%, which is great. 4 turns, 3 additional actions, foe singular, mid, wind, magic attack, mid. Now, this is a foe singular unit. This is a record buster unit. And I'm willing to bet the Finn Record Buster is going to be like basically geared towards her. So if you want to be good in Record Buster for a bit of time, this is a unit you want to invest in. But remember, this is a unit you're not going to use insanely often. Familia event, I don't even think the EX mission, because the EX mission is mostly like AoE. Though to be fair, it's got 2 or 3 smaller foes. I don't remember exactly. And a bigger foe, so maybe. Highly unlikely though. Skill 2 is a high wind magic attack with Ultra on guard rate, temporary magic boost, and allies critical encounter rates plus 40%. That's very good. Fantastic. Okay, and that's all allies. All allies get critical encounter rate like that, so it's phenomenal skill. Like, worst case scenario, that'll be a decent sack skill for some teams. In fact, I had a team just recently that I built that I was like, who am I going to sack? And she would have been phenomenal on that team. Skill 3, slow, super wind magic attack with ultra critical rate, skill damage 60% per self magic buff. Remember, you get a buff on the assist and the adventure side that becomes 120%, and extend debuffs by 2 turns. That's a very good skill. She's going to hit really hard. It's going to be pretty nuts. SA, ultra wind magic attack with ultra on guard rate, skill damage plus 100% per self-critical rate buff. You will want to buff her critical rate on the assist, because that is going to turn that 100% into a 200%. And that's going to hurt. That is going to make this a premium Record Buster unit. and could bring wind up to the realm of where like water has been for the past couple of months. So fantastic unit. Eyes is phenomenal for Wrecker Buster. Past that, I don't really know. So if you're like me and you just invest a lot in Wrecker Buster just because that's like my favorite mode of the game currently, great. Like, but you have to understand you are doing this basically for one event that's going to rerun Wind Wrecker Busters. What, rerun 3-4 times a year? So realistically, not the greatest use of your funds. But to be fair, if you're chasing Marielle too, which you absolutely should be, don't get it twisted. Marielle's gonna be amazing. Then this is a unit you're probably gonna wind up with anyway. Do you want to max her? That's a personal decision. I will. I'm absolutely gonna max her out, but that's because I love Wrecker Buster. 35% Earth Resist, counters are Wind Magic Attack, 35% Magic Agility and Dex, 25% damage on critical, 60% counter damage, 60% counter damage, that's nuts, girl. And Beast Killer. So, yeah. Good stuff, that. Good stuff, that. The new Hestia, HP is 1010, which is a phenomenal HP stat. Physical attack is 628. Now, notice most of our units are magic, not physical. So, yeah. Fire resist down 20% at max limit break, and allies critical rate and counter rate plus 20%. That's going to go down to 15% at level 60. Anything below that, you shouldn't be using this unit anyway. I don't know what these stats are going to be at level 60, but to be honest with you, you really want to try to max her out, and she is really going to be, I don't know about game-changing for the fire team, but she's going to be phenomenal for the fire team. In my case, I'm really looking forward to testing her out, only because I have the 20% assists for the fire team, but I don't have them for the water team. That said, my water team is significantly better than the fire team, and it would be really interesting to see what the actual differences are. So, looking forward to that. Banner number 2. Under Resort and Feline Goddess. Let's go ahead. Goddess Guide. Oh my goodness. That was a bit of a... Anyway, I still don't know how to pronounce her name. Philly Lily, I think is how it's pronounced, but I have no bloody clue. Old girl. We'll just call her Old Girl. Physical fire type. So you notice I said Hestia is a physical fire type. We have a physical fire type. Completely forgot that. I thought she was magic. Whatever. Just shame on me. Now, if you want Old Girl, because I'm not going to butcher her name again. If you want Old Girl, you are going to have to get Hestia. Just mark my words on that. That means you got to hit both banners. She makes Hestia mandatory. Grabbing Hestia pretty much makes her mandatory. So these two are going to go hand in hand, and they're on opposing banners, which kind of sucks, but Red Flare, I see what you did there, and I'm not mad for you. Physical fire type, 3865, which is a good HP stat. Not phenomenal, but good. Strength stat is amazing at 2117. That's a huge, huge strength stat. Agility is 1060, which is really good. Endurance, which is also your defense stat, is 574, which is really good. MP is 284, which leaves a bit to be desired. What does her MP cost in her attacks? 37, 46 to 30? Yeah, you're not going to worry about that. Her MP is going to be fine. Skill 1, Strength, Fire attack damage plus 80%. Strength and fire attack, 80%. Basically, she's... If you guys were here for the Goblin Slayer crossover, she literally is like the stat that Priestess would have given you. Just built into her skill 1. Like, instead of having to wait for, like, at the end of the game stuff, you know, like, choosing between Priestess or OG Haru and all that stuff, she just comes out of the gate and is like, boom, this is what I got to give. She's phenomenal. Physical resist down 40% for 4 turns and 4 additional actions. Foes, plural, low fire physical attack with ultra penetration rate. Think about what this all gives you. This gives you a phenomenal strength stat, phenomenal fire stat, physical resistance down. She has everything she pretty much needs to hit hard and be nuts in skill 1. Basically, all the stuff that made lead really deadly, she is and better. She's a power crept lead. That's exactly what she is. Because skill 2 is a fast. Remember the big thing with lead is he would buff all that stuff, go into turn 2, and hit you with a fast attack. Fast, high fire physical attack, I wish that was a super, with ultra on guard rate and temporary strength boost, and guard rate and counter rate down 40%, AoE damage taken 35%. So she comes in, she goes, bam, war game, I'm talking war game here, big hit, and you're debuffed even further. So turn 3, if I need to hit you in turn 3, bam, you're dead. Old Girl is deadly for Wargame, deadly for any fire team, deadly for so many events. She is an absolute must. You gotta have this unit if you have the fire assist. You gotta have her. And really that does kind of make the other banner mandatory, because if you pull her, you gotta pull for that Hestia. So good luck. Skill 3 is not a throwaway for once. It is a high fire physical attack with ultra penetration rate, skill damage 70% per self strength buff. Remember, that is going to become 140%. That is still going to hit hard. Arguably, that is going to be as good as some of those single target hitters. Great. SA, ultra fire physical attack with ultra penetration rate, skill damage 60% per self strength buff. Not quite as potent, but she has strength, strength, magic, and fire resist, all down 50%. Put her in line with your units, basically put her in line with Haruhime, then do the fire Aisha, and then do her. And basically, whoever you put on the end, put it like your biggest fire hitter with the biggest percentage you got. I don't know who that would be. I'd have to go look at it. But biggest fire SA with the biggest percentage on the 4th slot, and watch them absolutely crush the opponent. She is insane. Now, here's the interesting part. Okay, passives. It says 35% dark resistance. I'm going to guess that's wind resistance. I don't know for certain, but I'm going to guess. With ultra critical rate and counter rate. It's written weirdly. It says dark resist. I'm willing to bet it's wind resist, but it could be dark. Dark does not make sense. Wind makes sense. I don't know. But, you know, it is what it is. Oh, no. No. Okay, hold up. It's 35% dark resist with ultra critical rate and counter rate. Then down here, 35% wind resist. Counters your fire physical attack. Does she have dark resist and wind resist? Damn. That can't be right. We'll have to see what happens when she drops. I don't know if that's actually true or not. Either way, it doesn't change her. She's phenomenal. 35% strength, agility, and dex, 15% damage on critical and penetration, and 50% towards beast. She's nuts. Ryu is a light magic attack with 3743 for her HP, which is really good for a magic unit. MP is 392, which is okay. Magic stat is 1992, which is good. Not phenomenal, but good. Defense is 495, which is respectable for magic, though that is going to make her with that be a little squishy. Though with that HP stat, not quite as squishy as some of the other magic units out there. So she's a good build for a magic unit. I like higher stats, but then again, you know, like, there's really nothing there to promise that. Like, she has really good stats for a magic unit. I have to just sit there and I have to level set my own expectations. She's really good stats for a magic unit. Skill 1, fast, highlight magic attack with ultra and guard rate, temporary magic boost, magic resist, and light resist down 35%. Skill 2 is a super light magic attack with ultra penetration rate, temporary magic boost, and allies cure ailment. Allies cure ailment on skill 2. Though skill 2 is a foe singular attack. Foe singular. So skill 1 is a foe's plural. I just saw the foe 2 is a foe singular. Like a Wrecker Buster build or something like that, which is weird. Skill 3 is a self, slow, magic, agility, and light attack damage buff plus 60%. Not end of the world stuff. It's good stuff, though. Including that agility stat is going to make her very, very speedy. And those buffs are for 4 turns. Allies, counter rate, and guard rate, and heal rate plus 30%. Remember, that heal rate's really important because those HP regens, those Haruhime heals, even the new Marielle heals, they're going to become significantly more potent with that heal rate increase. So, basically, if you're building a stall team, you're going to want her on there for that alone. In fact, you might even sack her for skill 3 alone. The only thing you got to be careful of, and this is something I've fallen into before on my own side, you got to get her minimum to level 60 if you want to use skill 3. There's ways to set up skill 3, but here's the deal. And I believe if you actually set up the buff, I believe skill 3 should go first. But you have to have her minimum level 60 to unlock skill 3 at all. So if you do that, you're going to need to make sure she doesn't have any real armors on her. You have to make her as squishy as possible. It's possible. You can do it, but it's going to be a tough build. That said, for stall teams, she's going to be great. SA, ultralight magic attack with ultra penetration rate, 70% skill damage per foe magic resistance debuff. Remember, that's a 140% hit. That is massive. Though light, I still think only has an 80% attack buff, so it's not end of the world stuff. But they should get 100% before long. Foe singular magic resistance debuff. Okay, so per foe singular magic resistance debuff. What? Okay. So, it is an AoE attack. I think what it's saying is each foe that has a magic resistance debuff in place is going to get affected by that. But, I mean, they all should. Allies. Magic, light, and attack damage plus 80%. Like I said before, light attack, I think 80% is the highest. She basically takes everything that you would need from the old Light Haru, the swimsuit Light Haru from, what, a year and a half ago, and just kind of throws her out the window. She's like, all right, bye. We don't need you anymore. I will make my own light team with Blackjack and working girls. Friendly Maiden, is that Fine? I don't know. Old girl number 2. This is the assist on the banner. HP is 864, which isn't phenomenal, but isn't terrible. Physical attack is 294, which is terrible. Magic attack is 403, which is terrible. Defense stat is 224, which is alright. MP is 217, which is pretty damn good. Allies. Physical resist and guard rate plus 20% and 30% HP regen per turn. So long as she's in play, whoever you ever tied to, you're going to get HP regen per turn she's alive. Self. Agility plus 20% and 40% MP regen per turn. I'm sorry, not 40%, just 40 MP regen per turn. That is to whoever she's tied to. So all allies get physical resistance and guard rate and 30% HP regen. Whoever she's tied to gets 20% agility and 40 MP. Her agility is 616. She's going to be one of the fastest units in the game. If you're doing a wargame build and you need somebody to be quick, tie her to that unit, and you're going to love life. Basically, probably what I'd do is I would tie her back to old girl here and let her go to town. She's going to be nuts. Basically, the long and the short of it is you want everybody on these banners. These banners are really, 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 really good, and they're power creeps of all the units we've had in the past. So, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Like, comment, share, all that good stuff. I just uppercutted the mic for you. My apologies, except headphone users, that probably hurt. And I'd edit it out, but I'm too lazy. See you now for some summons. That's that. Did I make it awkward?